A very good morning to you all. Thought we'd take a visit to the beach this morning, hence the title of the creation moment, Seashells. We start with a scripture in Genesis 1:31a, which reads, "And God saw everything that he made, and behold, it was very good." Few places on earth are as difficult as the intertidal zone. Every day the animals that live here must face extreme heat and dryness from the beating sun, followed by rising tide waters that completely inundate them. Meanwhile, a frightening menagerie of predators from both worlds, seagulls, otters, jellyfish and starfish, lurk nearby. Other marine creatures such as lobsters and crabs technically make shells consisting of a material called chitin, C-H-I-T-I-N, but most shells that we collect at the beach are made by a group of creatures called mollusks, which include snails, clams and mussels. Their shells are made of calcium carbonate, which is very durable and can have a smooth sheen like fine porcelain. Of all the shell-making animals, mollusks have the most interesting and beautiful shells. The varied ways that these wonderful creatures overcome the challenges of their environments are incredible. The differences are so vast that biologists have divided mollusks into 8 completely different scientific classes based on their methods of home building. Now, to grasp the significance of the classes, consider that all mammals belong to the same class, but mollusks belong to 8 different classes. Now, differing mollusks include specimens such as the premier sand diggers, olive snails being a favourite among collectors, famed for their subtle yet beautiful shades of colour and designs. They are found in tropical and subtropical waters all over the world, buried in the sandy intertidal areas on most continents. Another popular family of shells is Angaridae, known as the armour bearers. These shells win the prize for incredible architecture. It's a pity we haven't got photographs to show you, but on we go. Harp snails are another species, often have long ribs that run along the length of the entire shell. While collectors appreciate and enjoy the variety of complex ribs and their colours, evolutionary scientists note that the ribs add protection from predators. Now, conch shells, which we covered in another creation moment, are some of the largest and most beautiful of all the shells in the ocean. These animals are enormous by snail standards and build houses that rival anything a human can make. And finally, the cone snails seldom show up on beaches, yet people from all over the world earnestly collect them because they are because of their exceptionally vibrant colours. As is true among land animals, bright colours on ocean snails usually signals danger. They hide a dangerous weapon inside the shells that looks like a harpoon. They also make a toxin capable of subduing just about anything that comes within reach, including unsuspecting scuba divers. Now, looking at mollusks generally, they begin making these shells while they are microscopic larvae floating with the current. Eventually they settle on the ground and look for a permanent home, moving on what is equivalent of a single foot that drags them through the sand and mud. All the while they keep building a larger and larger shell to give them a safe place to live as they grow and eventually attach to the sides of rocks and filter food from the water. Today, shells provide mollusks with protection from the terrors of life, allowing the animals to withdraw into shelter and wait out the danger. Many scientists argue that this need for protection is enough to explain the origin, intricacy and variety of all the shells that we find on the planet. They say the complex forms don't require a designer, and therefore the design isn't real. The attempt to explain how so many shells could arise by chance simply to survive is merely guesswork, and it doesn't begin to explain the genetic code and advanced cells and tissues in the mantle that direct this process, and that's worthy of another creation moment. And even explaining those wonders wouldn't explain the beauty of the shells. The shell construction continues throughout the life of the mollusk, and every step in the process must be highly controlled by an elaborate cocktail of hormones. Specific materials are programmed to be placed in specific places at specific times with specific designs. while each special environment influences the process, requiring ingenious flexibility in the programming to make the most of the available materials and needs. The development of the shell is highly controlled. If the genetic codes and flexible building process were already in place from the very beginning, it is easy to see how they were designed to continue to maintain the intricate designs in the face of predators and other dangers. It makes sense to credit a creator god with giving molluscs designs at creation to fill the seas with beautiful life forms. But it is not possible for chance evolutionary events to bring about the first fully functional shells or to explain the origin of their intricate features or their variety. This isn't just an everyday engineering challenge. Molluscs are designed to build, repair and expand their homes on the fly, so to speak, in changing circumstances. It's an engineering nightmare that would challenge the greatest geniuses in Silicon Valley. So shells clearly point to a grand designer. No other explanation holds water. When you add the colourful shapes and patterns of the shells, which give the molluscs no obvious survival benefits, the shells demonstrate nothing less than the creative work of a God who loves beauty and intended them from the beginning for our enjoyment and his glory. And we conclude with a praise to the Creator from Psalm 139:14. Marvellous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. Thank you for listening.